Immigration update today on Kababayan, LA. More specifically, how you may obtain U.S. citizenship. There are many ways.
This American Dream segment is brought to you by Aquino & Lowe Law Firm, answering your immigration questions.
Attorney Richard Lowe, hello, and welcome to Kababayan, LA.
Hello.
All right, we had somebody write this comment on Facebook, or a question. Remember, we have our Facebook page, so if you have any questions regarding immigration or real estate or other topics, just feel free to post. This was posted by Ida. A few years ago, Ida became a U.S. citizen. However, she still retained her Philippine citizenship. She has traveled in and out of the U.S. without a problem until recently. On her last trip to the Philippines, she stayed out of the U.S. for almost a year. Upon her return, she was asked a lot of questions about her reasons for traveling and her reasons for returning, but was eventually allowed into the U.S. Okay, the question is, could Ida be denied entry into the U.S. because she has stayed out of the U.S. for an extended time? Number two, can Ida be a citizen of the U.S. and another country without problems? I think she's talking about dual citizenship. There's so many questions about that.
Yes, there is. I call this the Johnny Depp rule. You know, if Johnny Depp can live in France for years and not have any problems coming back, so can you. If you're a U.S. citizen, that passport and that citizenship is yours for life and can't be taken away simply because you've stayed out of the country for an extended period of time.
Does it matter if you are naturalized or you were, you know, from birth a U.S. citizen?
It doesn't matter in the sense that once you're a citizen, you're a citizen. Now, if you naturalized through kind of a shady way, like you became a citizen and you shouldn't have been a citizen, that's a different story. But if you became a citizen and you are a citizen, then it can't be taken away because you're staying out of the country. And also, it's okay to hold a passport of another country at the same time.
Dually, yeah.
Yes.
But, okay, why was she questioned or interrogated? Is that normal?
One can ask what happens at the border is always kind of strange, but it is normal sometimes to ask why people are out of the country if they suspect that perhaps there's criminal activity or something like that, but it shouldn't be a basis for denying entry into the United States.
So in instances like that, just keep your calm and answer the questions truthfully.
That's correct.
Because you did nothing wrong.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Another thing, Jennifer, okay, this is another case. Jennifer came to the U.S. as a permanent resident when she was 8. When she was 16, her mom became a naturalized U.S. citizen, and when she was 17, her father passed away. Shortly after graduating from college, she got into some problems with the law and was convicted of an aggravated felony. Okay, this is a problem. She was put into deportation proceedings but received a waiver to remain in the U.S. She recently applied for naturalization but was denied because she is an aggravated felon. Can Jennifer ever become a U.S. citizen?
Now, this is a very complex question. I think at first blush, the issue here is she's an aggravated felon. So normally speaking, if you're an aggravated felon, you can't become a U.S. citizen. Even if you received a waiver, as she has,
so you can stay here.
You can stay here.
But what's your visa?
Well, you're a permanent resident. Now, you may have issues traveling. I think the important thing to see in this case, and this is actually somebody who came into our office, is that she's actually already a U.S. citizen. Because her mom is a U.S. citizen, and she was under 18 when her mom naturalized. So even though she went through a deportation process and this was never raised, she is in fact a U.S. citizen.
And in fact, you can't deport a U.S. citizen.
And you can't deport a U.S. citizen, and she is automatically a U.S. citizen. So therefore, you don't have to get into the fact that she was arrested or an aggravated felon or any of that.
It's not even a question anymore.
It's by operation of law. So she is a U.S. citizen, and it's just a matter of applying for it.
That's why you need a lawyer to explain these things to you. There are complications. There are ways of interpreting the law. Number on the screen if you want to call them for a face-to-face, email, or phone consultation. One last situation, last minute on this segment. Rolando became a U.S. citizen. He has been in the process of petitioning for his wife and 2 children to come to the U.S. His children are 12 and 14. The children are reluctant to come because they want to finish high school first. Rolando is worried that if they come to the U.S. as permanent residents, then return to the Philippines for school, his kids might lose their permanent residency. It's a common problem among Filipinos.
This is a very common problem, and the key here is that Rolando's a U.S. citizen. So when his children arrive in the United States as permanent residents, they will automatically be U.S. citizens. So they don't have to worry about coming in and leaving. Once they come in, they're U.S. citizens, they get a U.S. passport, then they can return, as we said before, to the Philippines and stay as long as they like, and then come back when they're finished with high school or college or whenever they like.
Right. So how nice to have a U.S. citizenship, right?
Yes,
you can
it is.
stay, there are no complications.
Yes.
And that is why attorneys Allison Aquino and attorney Richard Lowe, they are from Aquino and Lowe Law Office. They help us. They helped me get my green card, my permanent residency. Thank you so much for that. Information on the screen. Call them right now. It's always good to have lawyers like yourself, like experts who explain these things to us.
Yes, it is important to get a consultation from an attorney.
Because we don't know better.
You don't know what's out there or what's going to happen, so you need to have somebody tell you.
Right, and they are there to help us, to help our community. Thank you, more power to you. We'll be back. Another way to obtain your U.S. citizenship is through the U.S. Army. We'll talk about that when we return. Don't go away.